Blue Bloods, goodbye. Everyone else gets a chance at the dance. What up? Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, and you.
Wait, who? You want to see these football schools who foul about 900 times a game, these defensive struggles?
Yes.
Give
me more San Diego States and FAUs.
Oh, God. No, I love these Cinderellas, but you can't really have David beat Goliath if you have nothing but Davids in your tournament. There is definitely a lack of traditional powerhouses here that is going to bug me moving forward.
Okay, see, I think it's a little bit overblown. You still have a lot of really great basketball schools in this tournament left. You've got UCLA. Ever heard of them? You've got Gonzaga. They become, you can't even call them a mid-major anymore. That would be an affront. You have Texas, who has been a good basketball school. Michigan State, Tom Izzo is Mr. March for a reason. I can continue on here. I like this. I like some new people. It doesn't have to be Duke and North Carolina to make us care.
Yeah, right, because Texas basketball has such a long history. Get out of here.
What I'm saying.
Michigan State, okay, so Michigan State, Izzo's going to outsmart someone with tough defense. You have to admit, at some point, it's going to be a bit of a grind-like feel to this tournament because there's so many teams who are so defensively oriented and so physical. The Alabamas and the Houstons and the Miamis.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just there lacks a certain aesthetic appeal to the teams that I'm seeing advance right now.
Okay, this is why the tournament is great. Because that part of it doesn't matter. Like, yes, we're going to see missed shots. We're going to see a lot of bricks. We're going to see but it doesn't matter because a tight game is all that matters. Like, this is the beauty of this tournament. It doesn't have to look like the Golden State Warriors. It's not going to look like them. It's not going to look beautiful. There's no Nikola Jokic, passing like that as a center. This is why it's great. Give me a tight game. Give me a good refereed game. And give me guys who really care. Like, not to be cliched, but the diving on the floor, the grabbing the rebounds, like, these guys care so much more than your average NBA game, and that's why it's great.
Yeah, this girl has a great personality. You got to meet her. Of NCAA tournament descriptions. Listen, I mean, come on. If it's, let's say it's the top two seeds left. Let's say it's Alabama and Houston.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good game, but good in what sense? Good in the sense that everyone's going to play killer defense. You're going to see a lot of rebounds that are coming out of 14 feet because they're such bad shooters for this level. It is not going to be a good game aesthetically. It's going to be a grind.
Okay, but as long as it's close and competitive, it's going to feel like a quote-unquote good game. It doesn't have to be this, like, most beautiful game for it to be a good game. And, for me about the NCAA tournament, I think it's really true. They don't need stars, they make stars. Now, the coaches are stars, and you can have, Eric Musselman, like, taking off his shirt, and Izzo and everyone. We know because of the coaches. But as far as the players go, because of the one and done, because of the NIL, because of the transfer portal, like, we're not getting to know these guys as well as we would have if they were all sticking around for 3 and 4 years. But I don't think it matters. Like, I was into these games this weekend, even if I haven't watched much of FAU this year. A team that won 30 games, by the way.
So you don't think anything would be missing, or will be missing, rather, when you get to the Final Four, and there's especially Duke. Duke is the one. By the way, they're Blue Bloods, and there's Duke. I think Duke gets more eyeballs than any team. And they're basically the Dallas Cowboys of the sport. So they're out. But maybe if you don't get Duke, at least you get Kentucky. Because everyone grew up knowing Kentucky. You're not getting them.
No.
Then you go down to North Carolina and Kansas, and you're not getting them.
Well, North Carolina didn't make the tournament. I mean,
right.
We could have never had a blue blood in North Carolina here.
Yeah, I just think that there's definitely, for the casual to mid-casual fan, it's going to be a little different experience watching Alabama versus, don't have my bracket in front of me. Give me
San Diego State.
Tennessee.
Yeah, well, here's why I think this is the tournament, and this might be, we know the NFL is king. Like, they'll always get the biggest ratings, even if it's a Titans-Colts game, like on a Thursday night. But I think that's the tournament is like recession-proof, if you will, because I don't think it matters if it's Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, and Villanova like it was last year. No matter who it is, you're going to tune in because that's like the pull and appeal of the tournament. What I hope does not happen, and I know people have been saying this since the beginning of time, don't expand it again. Don't need 96 teams in the tournament. Let's not diminish the college basketball regular season even more than it's been diminished. I know that could be a conversation for down the road, but keep it at 64 or 68, whatever, with the play-ins. But, like, keep it here because this is the digestible amount, I think, for fans, and it makes it, in my opinion, like recession-proof. It will never have a dip because people are into the tournament for the tournament's sake.
I don't have numbers in front of me. I'm assuming that the ratings are way down from whatever the peak of college basketball is, because ratings and everything are down.
Yeah,
and
hard. It's hard to keep an audience in this day and age.
Yeah, and I don't think I think one and done over 30 years has hurt the sport. I mean, Chris Webber against Duke, you're never going to get that kind of marquee matchup. It's just not happening anymore. So even so, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I assume having Duke in there helps you a little bit. It's got to.
Well, because people love to root for them and love to root against them,
too. Now that Coach K is gone, and I do worry about that for the sport, the coaches are stars. A lot of coaches are leaving. Jim Boeheim just left.
Yeah.
Coach K is gone. Roy Williams is gone. Soon, I think, our boy Calipari is going to be gone. You know, Rick Pitino's back. That's another story.
Oh, yeah, that just happened. Rick Pitino, the feel-good story of Rick Pitino's back, going to be back in the Big East now at St. John's.
Yeah, right.
It's like, are we celebrating? It's funny. I don't know how history is going to look back at Pitino.
Yeah.
It depends what happens with St. John's, but, like, you know, now NIL is really taking care of a lot of, you know, the scandals that were around these programs.
I mean, I think Pitino his legacy will be Kentucky. I mean, and partly Louisville, but what he did with Kentucky was pretty amazing, because they were on death's door, as I recall, and he came in there, came up with that high pacing. But wait, back to this sort of modern college basketball is UVA. Incredible defense. Nobody's good enough to go pro. They stick around and they win the title, or they go out in the first round. And I'm sorry, I'm a little tired of this.
There are lottery picks in this tournament right now. Brandon Miller's a lottery pick. He could be the top 2 pick. If Victor Wembanyama was never born, he could be the number 1 pick.
First of all, what is Brandon Miller doing in this tournament? Nothing.
Okay, but
nothing.
I know, but Alabama's won by 21 and 22 points.
There are not a lot of lottery picks in this tournament. There are maybe a couple. Maybe the kids on Arkansas. Maybe Brandon Miller. Definitely Brandon Miller. But generally, though, what wins in the NCAA tournament is the older guys, right? Drew Timme and guys and Jaime Jaquez, guys who've been around seemingly for 6 years. So if you're so good at basketball, you leave and your team can't win a title. I'm sorry, I'm sounding like such a wet blanket, because it was an incredible weekend of basketball. I love the upsets. But don't you think the upsets are great early? At the end, don't you want to see teams you know a little bit?
No, because I'm watching the teams I'm getting to know. Gotcha. And I like what I'm seeing. Like, watching yesterday, you mentioned Kentucky. And, you know, it's always interesting with Kentucky, with John Calipari, like, you know, this was an underachieving team this year. And I know technically it was not an upset because Kentucky was a 6 seed and Kansas State was a 3 seed, but that's not how it felt, right? Kansas State was the team that felt like the upstart. Their best player is 5'8", you know, on K-State. Meanwhile, Kentucky, we're used to sending multiple guys to the NBA every single year. They have more first-round draft picks in the NBA have come from Kentucky than any other school in the entire country right now. If you're looking at the NBA, Kentucky is the best represented in terms of first-round draft picks and number 1 overall picks. So you're used to Kentucky being this, like, power, and now they've fallen short. Now, I know the recruiting class for next year is awesome, but I can tell, like, the natives are getting a little restless because this will be the 3rd straight tournament for John Calipari with no Sweet 16.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's be careful what you wish for, because are you really going to be able to keep this program elite if John Calipari's gone? I'm sorry for John Shire, but John Shire has a heavy lift ahead of him with Duke. And I think the same thing is going to happen whoever follows Calipari. And by the way, just Calipari after the game said about Marquise Noel, he said that kid, the little kid hit a shot. He didn't even know his name. He did not see this coming.
That's just Cal being salty.
He's being salty. And Noel is by a millionfold the hero of this tournament. That guy is so killer.
And the rainbow on the arcs on those, it was like they were scraping the ceiling.
He's little Steph Curry with assists. He's amazing. You're right. You get to know stars. Kentucky this year did not bother me. And I know Coach Cal is supposed to be on the hot seat a little bit.
I don't know how. When you have a lifetime contract, how are you ever on the hot seat?
Yeah. And you know what's funny about Kansas? Nobody seemed to care that Kansas went out early.
Well, they won the title last year.
Yeah, and no one expected them. No one I talked to had Kansas going very far in their bracket.
Well, you're talking to one person who did.
No, you did. I
had him in the Final Four.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's why I'm 28th now and looking up at everybody in our pool.
Oh, I'm sorry. But you didn't have him in the final game, did you?
No.
Trying to help you.
Thank you.
Well, listen, I had Duke. I listened to our boy, Coach Steve Lapis.
And how about Lapis and Andrew Catalan on the call Friday night for Fairleigh Dickinson? Yeah. I was really hoping, FDU, FAU last night, yesterday afternoon, whatever, was a phenomenal game. I was pulling pretty hard for FDU going into it, but FAU, Florida Atlantic, really won me over during that game. This is a high-scoring team. They were hitting threes from all over the place. You drop a curse, an accidental curse in the post-game interview. Like, they've got all the things I love.
All right. So you're going to have all these underdogs.
Yep,
but you're telling me...
You were not rooting for FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson?
No.
You're such...
Because they're playing,
do you not root
if
for
they were
them?
playing somebody... I know. If they weren't playing Florida Atlantic, no, you could not possibly look at Florida Atlantic FDU and say, oh, man, I hope FDU slays this giant right here. It's Florida Atlantic in Boca Raton, Florida.
Hold on, though. Don't you think that Purdue deserved to lose to FDU?
Yeah, and also, by the way, that is one thing that Lapis told us. He said, don't bet on Purdue.
He said, do not bet on Purdue, and I went and changed to Purdue out of my Final Four.
But I've thought this the whole tournament. I said that from day one. The 16 seeds looked like the same exact talent level as the 1 seeds. The 15 seeds look exactly like the 2 seeds. College basketball is a bunch of parity right now. I don't know if it's NIL, transfer portal, COVID year. Every seed is basically the same team. I can't believe the difference between the 1 and the 16 seeds. They physically look similar. Even Princeton has some big guys. Princeton never had big guys when I was torching them at JV at Dartmouth. They were all my size.
Them. Is that how
Their center was 6'5".
In Princeton, now, the underdogs of Princeton, that's what I love. It's like, Princeton, what an underdog. I'm like, not in life. The people who go to Princeton are far from underdogs in life. They're the ones who are winning at life. Like, doors just open for people who go to Princeton.
I've noticed people low-key hate this Princeton basketball team because they hate Princeton. Like, there's a lot of my buddy Big Cat on Part of My Take was shredding them about how
why
people
kind of physical.
People
actually,
think just going to Princeton means you have a silver spoon in your mouth, so they hate Princeton grads, so therefore they hate the basketball team. They are physical, but why are their shorts right out of 1987? What is going on with the shorts at Princeton? They're playing to every stereotype.
No, that's like that's what the kids wear these days. Apparently, I don't know. Princeton has trend centers. I never thought that. Are they the most unlikable Ivy?
I don't know.
Apologies to
it's hard for me to say.
There.
I'm too close to the. Maybe Harvard because I went to Harvard.
Yeah. No, people don't say they went to Harvard. They say I went to a school in Boston.
But
it's
then
like, nice try.
8 sentence in, they're getting Harvard. I don't know. What do you think is the most unlikable?
Princeton.
Princeton? Why Princeton? Just they seem snooty.
Kind of.
Do you guys agree with that over there?
I disagree. I would say it's Harvard.
I think it's Harvard.
Harvard's a high profile too.
I don't know. I mean, I think that whatchamacallit, Goodwill Hunting, I think did a lot to help Harvard. It's like, if Matt Damon can figure out the math,
well, that
probably
was
not that cool anyway.
It was kind of anti-Harvard too.
That's true because he kind of dunked on Harvard.
And was that MIT?
Oh, you're right. It was MIT.
But he hated it. He went to the bar and was talking to the Harvard kids.
Yes, that's what it was.
The kid who was
it was the famous "How do you like them apples?" scene.
Yeah, that guy went to Harvard.
Yeah. No, he was doing the math at MIT. Thank you, Pat. Clearly, I didn't go to either of those schools because I can't even remember the movie properly.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I went to Dartmouth.
Yeah,
full disclosure. They're not big enough to hate. They're definitely not one of the more hateable. They're kind of just quiet up in New Hampshire. Nobody has a strong opinion one way or the other.
Kind of forgot about you guys, to be honest.
Yeah, no, because we would never win an NCAA tournament game, so it's not an issue.
Good thing you know it.